Hello everyone, today I'll be explaining how to manage desktop licenses using Snow Atlas. First, start by discovering what's installed across your desktops. You do this by deploying the Snow Inventory agent onto your devices or using the Snow Integration Manager. Using a number of different connectors, you can also pull in key information such as hardware or software data depending on the connector. We do recommend using the documentation to validate what the connector is pulling, but we do highly recommend using the Snow Inventory agent where possible. So once you have inventoried your data via the Snow Inventory agent or the Snow Integration Manager, this will pull in raw application data that can be used. Next, the Snow Atlas platform will take the raw data, normalize it using our data intelligence service rules, and normalize these names to assure for reduced in duplicates, as well as accurate bundles and rule triggers for applications, giving you a clean and accurate inventory set of data that can be reviewed and categorized further from here. Once this is done, you'll need to import licenses and entitlements, as well as options to import agreements via the platform. Why do we do this? This is used so you can get a clear insight into compliance. This means you can track this by a number of different metrics, such as installation users, core accounts, depending on which application it is. There is more options, or if you wish to do so, you can create custom metrics to fit your purpose. So once you've added licenses, for example, as we have here in this example, we've added a Windows 11 Enterprise license, and we can go into here and get a insight into how it costs, as well as an insight into our maintenance and support contracts, as we can see here. And we also get an idea of our purchase. For example, we can take a further look into this. For example, if we go into our applications and search our application, in this case Windows 11 Enterprise, we can get a view into our compliance breakdown, as well as our computers that might use this application or have it installed. In this case, we do not have any, but as you can see here from our compliance, it gives us an insight into how our applications have been purchased and where they're not being used. Additionally to this, you can come to computers. For example, if we go into this computer, actions, edit, you can also add in costs to your individual computers. For example, if you have a license agreement with a manufacturer such as Dell, you have a cost per unit, you can add in a cost to your system. For example, I want to say this is 1,000. If we want to add a currency, we first select the currency and then we can select the day. And as we get an insight into here, we have now a cost of 1,000 purchase price for the computer, as well as the currency set for this. So adding this now, we get an insight into the total machine current cost is 1,000 euros. As we can go through the system, we get other additional key information, such as our applications, as well as if our applications have a license requirement. If it's set to 1, we need to add a license to cover these, as there's a cost to using these applications, and this could then potentially give you an insight into an audit where you would have a breach of usage. So further key things to note is there is a number of reports such as compliance summary, applications per computer reports that will also give you further breakdowns on information into individual applications, individual computers, about how they're being used. For example, if we look at this computer here, we can see it breaks down our individual computers, our individual computer with its applications, and we have a number of columns that we can look to add, such as application cost per metric. In our case, we haven't set this up, but you can get other key information such as expiry dates of applications, IPs, and hardware such information, such as usage for applications, and such as information if it's a virtual machine, or such, or part of a data center in VDI. So each one of these gives us a key part and information into how our computers can be licensed, how costs for computers can be reviewed, and how things can be licensed, as there's a number of factors when it comes to licensing a computer. The hardware itself, as we can see, we can add a cost, and the individual applications that are used within the computer itself. Further to know, if you are using a remote server to use applications, we also do cover these via a TM-application name sort of naming scheme for these, so these can be licensed as well. It does require you to have an agent on both sides of the machine to be able to track that, though, as a keynote. I hope this covers a good insight into how to license your computers and gives you an insight how to follow through of covering and making sure you're compliant. Thank you for watching.